Hey everybody, welcome back to Chamberlain Family Farms. Today I'm out here at the chicken pen. Look at this. You guys know what this is? This is sorghum. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this off at the top, take this in, let it dry out, and we're going to save for seed for next year. And actually we got a couple more growing right over here. So hopefully it produces like this. So got to get what you can when you can get it. Hey, free seed. All right, so you guys can see it's starting to kind of dry out a little bit. So that's why we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut it now. If this bumblebee here don't get me. I'm just going to take my knife and... All right. So we got one sorghum. Oh, right here's another sorghum, and it's just now starting. You can kind of see where it's starting to build some of the little buds on this one. You can kind of see, I thought it was corn, and I was like, well, I'll just let it grow. If it produces, it produces. It don't, because it's not actually in the garden. I don't know if this one's actually going to produce or not. I'd say it probably already has, and the wild game's already ate it. As you can see how dried out it is. So, or maybe some of it fell back down the ground. We'll get some more natural next year. So we'll just set it here next to the window. I got the window open. We'll just set in this basket and let it dry out on its own. So you can see the persimmons are starting to get some spots, and it's starting to kind of turn color just a little bit. So it will not be long, and we will be ready to start harvesting some persimmons. So let's see if I can find some more here. Yeah, so you can kind of see it kind of starting to turn like it may be a slight orange color in the spot. So we will have to definitely be keeping an eye on these because it won't be long, guys. And there is a lot of persimmons on this tree, and there's a lot on that wild one out there in the woods. So stay tuned. So just want to do an update. As you can see, them guys are turning orange. Let me give it a shake and see if they can fall off. They might be ready now. Look at there. First persimmons. All right, so we're out here in the garden where the corn was. And if you look, you can kind of see where it kind of divvies in. So that's not good for drainage, right? We're going to try to pull some of that stuff back so whenever it does rain, it drains better. Then after we do all that, we're going to get that compost pile. We're going to put it somewhere in the middle of this garden so that way we can go ahead and flip it, because we want all the minerals in here. So we will flip this through the winter time as well and add stuff to it as we go. So this stuff's got weeds from the garden around the house. It's got chicken manure. It's got the mulch that's in the chicken coop. It's got a possum and a couple dead chickens that the possum killed in it. It's got rabbit heads and feet and stuff like that. So we want to definitely make sure it keeps covered up. Most of that should be done rotted down, but so we want to go ahead and get the air where it's in there mixing up, so that way the microbials can do the job and start breaking it down again, because I guarantee you it slowed down because we haven't mixed it.
Look at how rich that soil underneath is. And this is just flipped one time.
as you can see, we got the majority of it inside. We've also got a little bit of the topsoil and some clay dust and stuff from the actual garden. And that's fine, you just want it all mixed up. Normally I go ahead and wet it, but we're supposed to be getting some rain tomorrow, so I should get it wet enough. Plus, where I put it, it's gonna be where it kind of holds water, so, which was intentional. Now this winter, or late fall, I do plan on getting some electric fence up here. I know I'm not really big on electric fence, but until we get the property line and everything done, we're not gonna put up a permanent fence. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fence this off. We'll put the chickens in here. You can see corn right there. They can nip on the grass. Any other seeds that were dropped from sunflowers or worms or whatever, they'll come through here, they'll scrape it all up, put their manure all over this garden and kill any remaining weeds and all that. Now some of it will grow back in early spring, but we'll cultivate it again. And as far as what I didn't put in there where I kind of pulled back, we'll let that sit for a while, and I'll just use a pitchfork later on throughout the year. And I'll probably end up moving it this way anyway, so we'll just kind of throw that in there among the mix whenever I go flipping it. Now, as you seen earlier, whenever I initially went to flip this, all the weeds and everything, it was holding that fence. So if you do it once or twice a week like you're actually supposed to, you won't have that issue. It'll be a lot easier to pull up. But again, if you guys want to make one like that, you need about 13 to 14 feet long fence, and it needs to be at least 3 feet wide, 3 feet high for it to actually break down all the microbial. So this is the old 55-gallon planter I made. Pretty much all I did is I got a heat gun and a wine bottle. I'd heat it up, drilled a couple holes on each side, took a saw, cut it, heated it up, put that wine bottle in there until it cooled down, and it formed these little nodules sticking out. And then this here's just a piece of pop I drilled a bunch of holes in, put some gravel in now about 4 or 5 inches. You'll put compost in here. On the outside here, you'll fill this up full of dirt and topsoil and stuff like that. But in here, after we get the gravel in there, we're only gonna go about 4 or 5 inches. We'll actually put compost in there, so you can put eggshells, grass, leaves, stuff like that. Then you get you a handful of worms and put them in here and keep it watered. And what'll happen is them worms, they'll be in here breaking down the compost, spread their manure throughout this, feeding your plants. And also the tea, there's actually holes drilled down in the bottom of this, and you can put you a catch pan and get warm tea out of it.
So what I want to use this for is, because I do have it in the greenhouse, I'm hoping to plant some lettuce, and so that way I have some lettuce growing for a longer period of time. I even thought about putting some strawberry starts in here. Haven't decided on that one yet, because I do have my raised beds that I'm going to be putting some in there, but we'll see how many I've got and we'll just give it a try.
Yeah, this is kind of shaded, but fall's coming, guys. Them leaves are going to be going and more light will be in here. Granted, it's going to be shorter days, but you can grow lettuce and kale and spinach all year round here in Indiana if you got a greenhouse.
Yeah, and I purposely wanted to leave the shade here because in the early spring, we don't have the shade. It gets full light all the time, which is helping the plants to grow. But then when it gets really hot outside, the shade helps us from getting unbearably hot, where you have to have all the fans and things like that. And things are still growing good because it does still get quite a bit of light. Sitting outside with Phil and noticing a pepper that's been eaten. I'm like, man, that looks like something that a worm would do. Well, lo and behold, look what's there. So I gotta get that thing off there, right there, and get rid of it and look to see if I got any others, because it'll eat the entire plant up before the night's out. Well, they're over there working, getting that cellar going. I remembered I needed to get the okra cut today. Some people like okra, some don't. We know that it's been a very good crop here. and it grows for a long period of time. It starts out, you know, producing when they're about 2 or 3 feet high, and like this one here is well over 6 foot, and it's still producing, as you can see. And so it's time to cut those. Okra grows really fast, so you don't want it to get too big. This one here is almost too big because it's almost bigger than my hand. When that starts happening, they get too woody and they're not very good. So we need to go ahead and get this one off of there. But the one next to it, it's just a little bitty thing. We should give you a size, and so see, it's still little, but probably in a day or two it'll be ready to clip off. As you can see, this okra, it's small, but it's not extremely small. When they're good and tender, they got almost like a fuzzy outer coating on it. You can almost feel the fuzziness. But once it gets too big, then it gets almost pokey. Now here's one, I think this is one of them that we are keeping for to get the seeds from. And this one is longer than my hand. And when I feel the outer part of it, I can start feeling a little spiky kind of a feel to it. So, of course, like I said, we're keeping that one to let the seeds mature inside so that we have it for next year too. But nice and big.
Thank you for watching Chamberlain Family Farms. You can contact us at chamberlainff@gmail.com. You can also see us on Facebook, Chamberlain Family Farms. We hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe.